With the offseason fast approaching, I wanted to do something different and give the viewers an update on prospects in the Boston Bruins system. We have learned this season that retool is coming, and I wanted to give some updates on players in the system. And I'm going to start with Fabian Lysell. So buckle up, Bruins fans. I'm here to give you the latest info on your beloved Boston Bruins. If you've been liking my Bruins content, please leave me a like and subscribe. If you've already done so, thank you, and let's get into it. The Boston Bruins drafted Lysell in the first round, 21st overall, back in 2021. At the time when he was drafted, he was projected by some to be a top 6 player and maybe even a replacement for Jake DeBrusk in the future. The main draw to Lysell in his draft year was his skating and stick skills on both ends of the puck. He wasn't the best skater in this draft class, but he did have lightning quick acceleration and good foot speed. Touted as a handful for opposing players, as giving even a little bit of space with the puck will likely lead to him blowing past you for a scoring chance. Lysell wasn't a reach for the Bruins when he was drafted, and it was kind of what most scouts thought and where he would go. After he was drafted, he was recognized as one of the most dynamic, game-changing players in his draft class. Lysell is known widely for his skating ability and puck-handling skills. When he was selected for the Bruins, he looked like they'd hit a home run. 5'11", 175 pounds, we all knew when he was picked he had some development. But how can you pass up a kid with such speed and skill? I think one issue is he hasn't got much bigger since he was drafted, only weighing in at 181 pounds. So I hope this offseason he spends his time getting strength. Lysell even said the right things when he was drafted. As he said, obviously the draft is it's a dream for every guy that starts playing hockey and wants to do that in the future. Who was watching with his Team Sweden teammates from Michigan as they get set for the new week's World Juniors Summer Showcase? I had a good feeling with Boston. I was super happy when the name got called out. What some of us, including myself, have to remember is Lysell was a pandemic draft pick, meaning scouts couldn't see him live as much as they liked, and most scouting was done over video instead of in person. That is not to say you can't judge a player by watching them on video, but I think when you get to see them live, you just get a better feel for a player. Heck, I do most of my analysis watching players on video or reading about them, but I have to say watching a player live does give you a better perspective. An example of this is when I got to see Connor McDavid live last year in Vegas. I know McDavid is an amazing player and a game changer, but it wasn't until I saw him live did my perspective change on him. My perspective changed from he's one of the best in the NHL to he's one of the best I've ever seen. Almost every single time he was on the ice, I could sense he could change the game instantly. His speed, his skill, his hockey IQ was something I have never seen before, and the sound of him skating up the ice was pure excitement. I've seen Gretzky, I've seen Crosby, I've seen Ovechkin, I've seen Lemieux. I've seen a lot of great hockey players play, and I would have to say that Connor McDavid is right up there with all of them. I bring this up because it's the perception that the Boston Bruins always reach or scout poorly, and it's already happening with Lysell because 2 picks after the Boston Bruins, the Dallas Stars selected Wyatt Johnson. It's far too easy to go back and look at a draft and say the Bruins should have selected a player A or player B. Hindsight is 20/20, and there seems to be far too many experts after the fact, year after year, acting like they knew who the team should have picked at the time. The 2021 draft for the Dallas Stars was a masterclass, and in fact, because their next pick was 47th overall, and they selected Logan Stankoven. Again, though, that draft year was very difficult for scouts. Already, some are saying Fabian Lysell is a bust and screaming it from the rooftops. He unfortunately early in his pro career has been plagued by injuries, but this year he was able to get called up twice to the Bruins. In 11 games with the Boston Bruins, he has 1 assist and now has his first NHL goal, which he scored on the weekend against Pittsburgh. Did you know that Brad Marchand's first 20 games in the NHL, he only registered 1 assist? And in fact, he did that in his NHL debut against Nashville and never recorded another point until the following year. So labeling Lysell a bust, 11 games in the NHL, playing on, let's face it, a very bad Boston Bruins team, is a bit premature. I'm not saying he's going to be the next Pasternak or an elite player for the Bruins. All I'm suggesting is not every player can jump in and make an impact, and some take some time to show their skills. I personally think Lysell has played well when he's been in the lineup, and just recently, they've been giving him top 6 roles. He's blazing speed and nice defensive stick, but the Bruins seem to be better at developing bottom 6 grinders than top 6 forwards. David Pasternak is an exceptional case because nothing was stopping that talent. And he got to learn the game playing with Patrice Bergeron and Brad Marchand. Dominic Tiano wrote an article recently about Lysell, saying, Lysell's path to the NHL has been defined by measured but slow development. Before his call-up, he honed his skills with the Providence Bruins in the AHL, where his offensive capabilities fell short of expectations set for him. Across 161 career games in the minors, Lysell recorded 40 goals, 81 assists, and a total of 121 points. Over the past month, I have frequently expressed the view the optimal course for both Lysell and the Bruins would be for him to complete the season with Boston, utilizing the opportunity to observe and learn from David Pastrnak. Following the conclusion of the NHL regular season, Lysell then to return to Providence for what will hopefully be an extended and successful playoff campaign. I couldn't agree more with Dom here, as Lysell getting top 6 minutes with the Bruins right now, only to play in the playoffs for Providence, is great exposure for him. It teaches him to play at an NHL pace, and when he goes back to Providence, the skills he learned will help him be a better player. I will leave a link to Dom's article in the viewer description down below. The Bruins far too often pigeonhole their prospects to make them fill the current need of the team. The good news is the Bruins need everything, including skill. When he tried to crack the lineup at camp, you had very veteran-heavy team in the top 6 and not many spots for him to crack. And I understand a lot of people said there was a spot in the top 6, but when you look at was there really? Lysell is not a bottom 6 player, so unless he's getting top 6 minutes, Providence is the best place for him. The real test for Lysell is how he shows up for camp next season and how he looks in preseason. I have no doubt he will be playing better when he goes back down to Providence, but now we'll see how he shows up for camp. Don't count Lysell out just yet because he's only 22 and it looks like he's finally comfortable with North American game. I want to hear from you though. What do you think the ceiling is for Lysell, and do you think he makes the Bruins next season? That's a wrap on today's video. To stay up to date on all the news surrounding the Boston Bruins, please subscribe and drop me a like. If news breaks surrounding the Boston Bruins, be sure to check out the channel. If you've already subscribed to the channel, thank you, and I'll see you next time.